Peter.
Thank you. Eric Adams, the New York mayor, is saying about these migrants in New York City, any plan that does not include stopping the flow at the border is a failed plan. So why aren't you guys stopping the flow at the border?
Let's listen to a lie coming up, folks.
We are stopping the flow at the border. If anything, what the president has been able to do on his own without the help of Republicans in Congress, something that he had to do on his own again because Republicans refuse to give the funding necessary to deal with a situation, a broken immigration system that has been broken for decades. They choose.
Oh, it's been broken for decades. Wow. You know, I thought didn't Obama fix it?
What they choose to do is play politics, but the president has put a plan that is indeed, the data showing is that it is indeed slowing down the flow.
Lies, lies upon more lies. Just wonder, okay, why this brown nose doesn't extend about 3 feet every time that she talks.
Of unlawful migration, and that is because of the work that this president continues to do without the help of Republicans.
A new holiday was born.
Wow. The work that president is doing, the work that Joe Biden is doing, it just gets you right. Actually, right here in the rectal area.
Go ahead.
Thank you. 2 questions on the border, if I can. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says the border is too open right now. Does the president think that the border is too open?
So here's what I will say. The president
doesn't think at all.
On his own, without the help of Republicans in Congress. Let's not forget, he put forward a comprehensive piece of legislation to deal with immigration reform. Remember, this immigration system has been broken for decades. And it's been 3 years. That's been almost 3 years since he put forth that piece of legislation. And there are 3 things that he has moved forward in when it comes to his plan and looking at the border. There's enforcement, and so we've deployed additional troops and federal agents.
Which isn't, they're not enforcing a damn thing.
To the border and removed or returned more than 250,000 individuals since May 12th alone. That's what we've been able to do without the help of Republicans. And deterrence, we've had the largest expansion, certainly, of a pathway is in decades, and we've made clear that attempting to cross the border unlawfully will result in prompt removal, a 5-year ban on reentry, and potential criminal prosecution. And let's not forget the diplomacy that we have done with the region, including Mexico, to deal with
diplomacy with Mexico. Let's not forget the diplomacy that we've done with Mexico and all the other work, the hard work that this president is doing all by himself, the heavy lifting all by himself.
This issue, because this is a regional issue that we're seeing as it relates to unlawful migration.
Yeah, right, bruh.
So when the president looks at what's happening at the border, he sees a border that is effectively closed.
What I'm saying is that the president, without the help of Republicans, is doing everything that he can to deal with the border. That's what he's been able to do, while Republicans try to push forth a CR to take away the federal agents that we see at the border. That's what he's trying to do. They're trying to politicize it and make it worse. That's what Republicans are trying to do, and turn it into a political stunt. The president is actually dealing with the issue that's in front of him by getting record funding, 25,000 federal agents at the border. That is something that this president has been able to do.
I don't know.
Thank you, Karine. I just wanted to ask you about the situation on the southwest border. As we know, some cities are claiming that they're a breaking point with regards to the humanitarian crisis that is ongoing down there. I know that there was an agreement signed with Mexico over the weekend. I wonder if the administration is in touch with these cities down on the border, and if there's other actions that the White House is considering to address the issue that is taking place down on the border.
So I'm going to have to point you to the readout from CBP, as you just mentioned. They issued a readout of their conversation with the Mexican government over the weekend. So regarding their engagement, so certainly would have you reach out to them, and they could lay out specifically how that.
Because I'm too much of an idiot and stupid, okay, to give you the answer to that. Or I don't want to give you the answer to that because we really don't know what's going on. But I think I'd rather go the former answer that I gave, which is go to them because we just don't know what the hell's going on.
That engagement went, and also refer you to the readouts more specifically as
Yeah,
well.
more specifically as well.
Karine. Thank you. So, in a recent meeting with the Prime Minister of South Korea, Xi Jinping expressed his support for resuming annual trilateral summits with China, Japan, and South Korea. I was just wondering if the administration has any comment on that development. And then additionally, recently the Japanese Prime Minister replaced both foreign and defense ministers. Is there any concern that this could impact the U.S. ROK Japan partnership, especially given that it's happening so soon after the trilateral summit?
So I would, so
Honey, you put too much information into that question. JEAN-PIERRE doesn't have the brain power to handle all that. You should have chopped that up into few words and then given it to her bits at a time, because she's probably going to end up forgetting the questions and the stuff that you had asked anyways. Let's hear JEAN-PIERRE answer.
So to your first question, I certainly would refer you to Japan and ROK for specifics of their plan for the trilateral cooperation with the PRC. So that is something that I would refer you to. But we here, certainly the United States, respects the ability of nations to make sovereign decisions in the best interest of their people, just as the United States takes steps to responsibly manage our relationship with the PRC and also with our other partners and allies. What was your second question? This is about the Japan.
Yes, recently the Japanese Prime Minister replaced both his foreign defense ministers. I was wondering if there was any concern about how that could impact the U.S. ROK Japan partnership.
So first, I would refer you to the government of Japan on any personnel decisions that they've made. Look, you saw the relationship continue to deepen and grow just a couple.
Because of the base that had been put down by the Trump administration. That's why the Japanese thing is going so well.
Weeks ago now at Camp David, when there was a trilateral summit, which was historic and truly important. And so we're going to continue to work closely with our Japanese counterparts to enhance that relationship. So that certainly has not changed. We have to go. Sorry, we have to go, guys.
Karine, as this debate over money plays out in Washington, over the weekend in Chicago, a 5-year-old boy who was living in a migrant shelter died. His name was Jean Carlos Martinez. What would the White House say to his family?
That's devastating. A child dying, anyone dying, is devastating. Devastating. As someone who's a mom myself, that is, when you hear stories like that, it is heart-wrenching. And
She's a mom. Boy, does she lie a lot. I wonder how she puts her head at night on a pillow knowing how many lies she's told the American people and the American press. But then the American press, they love those lies. Very few of them, other than Doocy and a few others, push back on those lies. But this is a mother here. She's a mom. And she's setting a great example for her kids. Wonderful.
I know that the president feels the same way. This is why we have...
The president could give a GD ass about this, goddamn ass about this. As do you, JEAN-PIERRE. I don't believe a single solitary syllable that is coming out of that mouth of yours. You don't give a damn about this girl. You don't give a about this child. You don't give a damn about anything at all. You're virtue signaling from the top, and these are fake crocodile tears and fake words that are coming out of your mouth and the administration's mouth. The president doesn't give a damn. Biden doesn't give a shit about this. No way, no how.
Taken this very seriously from day one.
No,
when it
you're
comes to
not.
dealing with a broken immigration system. This is why the first piece of legislation that the president put forth was on immigration and doing everything that we can in a comprehensive way to deal with it. Our hearts go out
No, they
to
don't.
the young, this little boy's family. I can't even imagine what they're going through. I don't want to imagine what they're going through.
Why
Our hearts
not?
go to
Why
them.
don't you want to imagine?
It just hurts. It hurts really bad.
Some of the local officials in Chicago have gone so far as to blame the Texas governor for busing migrants into Chicago and have said that that policy has led to situations like this one with a young boy. Does the White House share that view?
So I'm not going to go into specific cases from here. We've always been very clear, and you heard me at the top, the first question that I got, that we believe that Governor Abbott's policies and his political stunts are not safe. They're not safe for the Texas communities and our CBP, our law enforcement on the ground who are trying to do their work. They put them in harm's way, and they dehumanize and demonize immigrants.
You know, the only people that are dehumanizing and demonize are you, JEAN-PIERRE, and Joe Biden. To actually say that the governor of Texas, Abbott, to actually utter the verbal diarrhea that you guys utter every single damn day, from the moment you get up to the moment your head hits the pillow. You guys are absolutely the rot that sits beneath the White House right now. To actually say that what Governor Abbott is doing, busing the migrants to lessen the load that Texas has had to bear the brunt of for freaking decades. And you have the nerve, you can't, the lies that you guys spread is so unbelievably despicable, disgusting, revolting, vile. And to blame it on the governor of Texas, that because he's sending migrants across the United States to lessen the burden of his state, and to call that a cheap political trick, you people have no effing shame. You have no effing shame whatsoever. None. None, 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 none.
That's what his political stunts do. I'm certainly not going to get into every specific case, but we've been very clear that what he's doing doesn't actually help.
No, what he's doing actually helps a freaking lot. What you're doing helps a freaking not.
Thanks, Karine. So staying with that topic, yesterday when I asked the president about the prospect of future deals with Speaker McCarthy, he said, we just made one about Ukraine. But it sounds like you're saying they didn't just make one about Ukraine.
What I'm saying is that we know that there's bipartisan support, right, for Ukraine funding. And that's...
In Washington, D.C., there is. Not amongst the people in flyover country. Not amongst the country class, maybe the country club class in both parties. There's bipartisan support. But it's not from America first. Because that money that's going to you, damn Ukraine, should be going to help the American people here in this country first. You help your own first, JEAN-PIERRE.
That is what we're saying. We're saying that there's bipartisan support. There has been. We appreciate the bipartisan support that we've seen for Ukraine from the beginning, and we believe that's going to continue. And so that is what we see, and that's how we see this moving forward.
Well, why would the president say that he made a deal if he didn't?
I'm
Because
just
he's a
saying
lying
that
son of a
what
bitch,
we're
that's
seeing
why.
currently from Congress is that is that there has been, right? There has been overwhelming support. That is what the president said. A majority of Congress showing overwhelming support to continue that support for Ukraine, and that's what we're going to continue to. That's what we're going to continue to see.
Did the speaker provide some kind of back channel assurance that he would bring Ukraine
I don't think
funding up for a vote? Is that what he was referring to?
No, I don't even think the speaker needs to do back channel. He himself said yesterday that I support being able to make sure Ukraine.
Read off your notes, honey, because you don't have the brains to just give the points out yourself. I can understand looking at a few notes, but you're basically reading verbatim from notes that you put down there. Because the only reason that you got this job is not because you're smart, you're not. You're an idiot. It's not because you're bright, you're not. You're dim. It's because you happen to be female, black, and lesbian. That's why. Affirmative action. There's no way that you would have gotten this job on any other place in America unless it was DEI. There's no company that would have hired you. You don't have the brains for it. You certainly don't have the chops for it, and you certainly don't have the smarts for it.
Has the weapons that they need. He said that. He is, and we expect him to keep his word on that.
But then I guess I'm just trying to understand what the president meant when he said, we just made a deal.
The president didn't mean anything. He's a dementiated fool. That's what Joe Biden is. He didn't mean anything of it. He was just probably rumbling, stumbling, bumbling Biden.
What I am saying to you is that we have seen bipartisan support from Congress to continue the funding in Ukraine. That's what we expect, and that's what we want to continue to see. We've heard from Speaker McCarthy himself just yesterday saying that he.
Well, folks, so that ends another episode of Jean-Claude Van Damme at the White House, being the press secretary there. Jean-Claude Van Damme, KJP, idiot in charge. Can you hear the air hissing out, right? The airhead. Just needs another tank of helium, folks. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host, Dr. Nasir. If you've been done so already, you like our content, subscribe to the channel, smack that button, smash that subscription button, like, share, and follow. You all know what to do. Our final thought, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.